Over the years, I've consumed a lot of protein powders, tried a lot of different ones, made a lot of nutritional programs for myself, and as I've progressed, I've gotten a lot of success in my results, and I think I'm at the point where I can share some of my top methods and uses for protein powders to obtain the best weight loss results and overall general health benefits, coming up in this video. Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to discuss how to use protein powders for the best results, specifically as it relates to weight loss and general health. So let's get started right away. Number one on the list is to use protein powders in between meals. What do I mean by that? Well, literally use protein powders as a way to combat any kind of cravings that may surface when you're in between long periods of time between meals, where let's say you might be at work or maybe you're at home, whatever the case may be. A lot of times people, if they're at work, they might be tempted by the vending machine because they're hungry and they're craving something, and they're in between meals. It's not lunch, it's not breakfast, it's not dinner, somewhere in between. And that's a problem because that's when you can be vulnerable to eating a lot of extra calories that are unhealthy and are going to just create a calorie surplus that is going to be a major cause of weight gain and is going to hinder your ability to manage your weight in the way that you want to. So in between meals is a great way to use protein powders because of the high protein content. It's possible that you may be satiated enough between meals from the protein that you may not want to have the extra calories from the junk food or whatever it is that you were going to have in that moment. Number two, protein powders can be used to add extra protein to your meals. Newsflash, I know it's pretty obvious, but listen to how and why I recommend you do this, or at least consider this. And that's because depending on the type of meals that you have, if you're like a lot of people, some of the meals that you have don't contain a lot of protein, and that could be an example of maybe you're gonna have a smoothie in the morning with milk and fruit, or maybe some oatmeal, or maybe some a yogurt, or maybe just something else that it has protein but not that much. And you can use basically protein powder to just add literally almost 80-90% protein to your meal to really boost it up and give you the complete macronutrient profile, or as close as you can get. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect at all, not at all, but you want to have at least some type of fat, carbohydrate, and protein at every meal if possible. You want to strive for that, but it's not 100% necessary. And by the way, this is just one strategy that I use, and it's worked for me, so maybe it'll work for you. Number three, use protein to make a dessert. This is awesome because if you're like a lot of people, including myself, you like dessert, you have a sweet tooth, and having dessert can just completely wreck your nutritional objectives, because desserts especially just have a lot of concentrated calories, and you could do a lot of damage in eating even a little bit amount of food that's considered dessert in a short amount of time. So definitely anything you can do to avoid dessert, not have it, or the next best thing, eat something else in place of dessert and treat it like a dessert, but that is much healthier, maybe because it's a better macronutrient, like this is basically protein, and a lot less calories. So those two things means that it's gonna be, protein powder is gonna be a lot healthier for you than just consuming dessert. Number 4, extra calcium. Don't forget that some protein powders do contain extra calcium. Now, they don't all do. And some protein powders are, different, different in their macronutrient profile and the amounts of calcium that they contain. Some of them are vegan, some of them are not, milk-based. But if you have a protein powder that is dairy-based, like the one that I'm talking about today, or any of the ones that are dairy-based, doesn't have to be specifically the one that I am featuring today, but you can have a boost to your calcium intake, which is important because, again, if you're like most people, you probably consume, a certain amount of beverages throughout the day that contain caffeine. For example, you might consume maybe some coffee in the morning and, maybe even coffee again later in the afternoon, or maybe some sodas. And these things contain caffeine, and it adds up over the course of the day. And caffeine has been known to negatively impact your body's ability to retain calcium in its bones. So anytime you can boost your calcium content of your meals, that's something, good to do, and good to know that the protein powders that I'm talking about do contain, a good amount of calcium that it can help boost your daily calcium intake. Hey, future me here, and I wanted to jump in here real quick and just let you know that the specific protein powder that I'm talking about, in case you wanted to do a little bit more research on it, or maybe you're interested in buying this specific one or another one, it doesn't have to be this one. Definitely, this is not the only protein powder in the world. You can get other ones. But the protein powder research that I've done, it's important to note that not all protein powders are created equal. Some of them contain, vastly different calorie content and protein content. And also, too, don't forget that the calcium part that I was talking about in this video, the calcium content of different protein powders can be way, way different. Some of them have next to nothing. Some of them have a lot more. So just in case you're interested, to make it easy for you guys, I did put a link down below where you can also buy it if you want to. But again, you don't have to. You can buy any other protein powder that has similar macros. This is not the only one in the world. So definitely check the link below. And now back to the video. And number 5, and possibly the most interesting one on the list, because I rarely hear people speak about this particular item, is that you can take the protein powder serving and reduce it. You can manage the amount that you intake. And the particular protein that I am featuring here today does have a nice combination of, being calorically very low, relatively speaking. It's only 110 calories per serving, but it has about 24 grams of protein in that one serving. So, you know what? Why don't you take the serving and cut it in half? So make your serving half of the serving that's on the nutrition label of the protein powder, and now you basically have, like a little bit over 50 calories that you're taking in, but you still have a good amount of protein, to about 12 grams of protein, with still a decent amount of calcium, a good amount of calcium boost. So low calories, even lower calories now, because you cut the serving size. You're still getting all the benefits of the protein and the calcium boost. Not as much as a full serving, but it's still there for sure. And again, this all adds up as long as you're also consuming, which is most important, consuming good whole foods throughout the day, okay? We don't want to not do that. We want to make sure that you're consuming a good nutritional diet of real quality food, and this protein is just a supplement. But these are the ways that you can use it, guys. definitely, consider using protein powders in all the ways that I said, and preferably in combination, like I just mentioned in this video, to get the best results, to really improve your chances of managing your weight the way you want, losing weight, and just keeping overall general good health. So with that being said, guys, hope you got something out of this video today, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.